All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hi, buddy.
We recommend things to each other, and then we come back the next week to rate them on a scale of 1 to 3, depending on how much that thing is up our individual alleys. Right now, I am still in the lead with 55 points. Jake on my heels with 54 points.
Oh, yeah, baby.
We'll see what that score changes into. This week, we are talking about Jake's recommendation for me, which is the YouTube, I would say, short documentary. It's about an hour long, from the YouTube channel We're in Hell, entitled What White Noise Tells Us About the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And my recommendation for Jake, which is the 2023 film The Flash. We're in Hell.
Of what we're watching.
It's a little bit of everything. We have a classical piece of art, and then we have the Mona Lisa.
You have somebody.
See what I did?
you subverted expectations.
Yes, I did. We're in Hell is available. Obviously, it's a YouTube channel. It's on YouTube. And The Flash is available to watch on Max. We will get into that, but first we've got a couple things to get into. Related to us, kind of. A couple of sad things. We talked about Bob Barker dying last week.
Yeah.
This past week, we lost Arlene Sorkin, the voice of Harley Quinn, and the original inspiration for Harley Quinn. That was really sad.
Yeah, that one's wild.
Yeah. And then a couple days later, we lost Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Which, if listeners of the podcast know by now, you know.
You're from Florida.
I'm a Florida man. Jimmy Buffett was a big part of my life.
He's the president of Florida.
He is the king of Florida a little bit. They even put him in Jurassic World running away with margaritas. Those were sad. And then
they put the flags at half-mast at Margaritaville.
I think they just closed them down for the day. That's a
smart move.
Yeah.
Go be with your families.
Exactly. Cover the mirrors with black felt and all that stuff in every Margaritaville. But also, Jimmy Buffett, I think he's one of those people. He kind of gets to be a punchline, but he's also a very, very talented person.
Yeah.
I was re-listening to some of his songs, and I was just like, God damn it, some of these are just bangers.
Volcano is a really good song.
Yeah, Volcano's great. Cheeseburger in Paradise is great, but then some of his songs are like...
Cheeseburger in Paradise, overplayed, so I'm done. Same thing
overplayed.
with Margaritaville.
They're
good songs, but man, I'm tired of them.
I will stand up for
Somebody plays
Margaritaville.
Volcano, though. Now we're talking.
That's a bit of a B-side, I would say. But I even like his
Jimmy Buffett's great at hit track 3.
Actually, I think Volcano's 8 on Songs You Know by Heart. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I like some of his like lower key songs, like Son of a Sailor is a great song. Come Monday, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude, Pirate Looks at 40.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, I don't know any of this.
You don't?
No.
God damn it! If I didn't have such a good recommendation for you this week, I'd recommend like a Jimmy Buffett playlist, and then we could just have Jimmy Buffett Day. Maybe we have all of like April.
Honor.
Maybe we'll have Jimmy Buffett June.
Jimmy Buffett June.
Jimmy Buffett January.
Is there enough? You're gonna make me read Swine Not, the book by Jimmy Buffett about a pig that's at the beach?
Yeah. Why not?
Because that's crazy. Because that's a crazy book to write.
He also has a Pirate Looks at 50, which is his autobiography.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would rather read that than Swine Not.
Fair enough.
That book used to come into the bookstore a lot.
And that's a good pull from your used bookstore days. It makes it so you worked at a used bookstore for so long, your early frames of reference are things people did not want anymore.
Yes. You'd see it come in, you're like, oh, that was just a flash in the pan type thing.
If it was worth keeping, Jake doesn't know about it. Speaking of flash in the pan, we also lost Steve Harwell, lead singer of Smash Mouth.
I know.
Yeah.
That one's wild.
Just like Jimmy Buffett, Smash Mouth kind of gets like a rap of a joke band.
To make fun of them.
It's all-star, and I'm a believer in the Shrek stuff.
Might as well be Walking on the Sun.
Walking on the Sun is their first single from their first main album, Fush You Mang, which I maintain, and I will die on this hill, is a great, objectively great album.
No?
It's a little punk, it's a little ska.
I'm going to have to take your word on it.
When you leave here today, or if you're listening to this on your podcast app of choice, if you're on Spotify, the album's called Fush You Mang, put on the song Flow. It's track 1. And they end the album with a cover of Why Can't We Be Friends by War. Mm-hmm. It's a solid album. It's not going to change your life, but it will make you kind of think differently. Like we talked about in one episode about the Counting Crows.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a band that had...
They have their thing.
Right.
If you like this, you'll like the rest of their discography.
Yes. And Smash Mouth, they did change a little bit, but I will maintain they were something before they got famous. They're one of those like late 90s, early 2000s bands that really changed their sound when they got big. Some
Yeah.
people call it selling out. I don't.
Oh,
Sure.
get your back.
But like even Sugar Ray was like that. Sugar Ray's first couple records were pretty hardcore. Like Mark McGrath kind of wanted to be Henry Rollins,
Ew.
like screaming and taking his shirt off and shit. But
Ew.
Fly came out, and now he hosts like Access Hollywood or Entertainment Tonight or one of those.
Yeah.
one of those shows.
He's
But,
in his element.
yeah, go get your money.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace to all those people.
I know.
That's-
I watched a video of Smash Mouth being drunk on stage,
His name wasn't Smash Mouth.
and you're watching Smash Mouth just walk around and saying weird things, and you're like, "That's funny," and then they're like,
he kind
"He's
of took
got
a turn
problem."
for like the COVID stuff. It was, I think they said he died of like liver failure in his 50s,
he had
which
a
is
problem.
that's not a good sign.
No.
Also, if you're on stage screaming about lockdowns and masks and stuff,
Yeah.
you probably got some issues going on too.
He's yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You're
He's
allowed-
that direction of a person.
Everyone's allowed to have their opinions, but when you scream them into a microphone, it takes it up a level from an opinion to trying to force it onto other people.
Yeah.
They're just there to hear
Sure.
All Star.
Yeah.
Like, sing All Star, man. But yeah, that's sad, all of them. Another big development that we got going on, y'all can't see, but Jake can. Got some
You
new
could put
equipment
a
down here.
picture up on the Instagram.
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
That's a smart idea.
Thank you.
We got a little setup down here for streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, man.
The Twitch channel is twitch.tv/fishtankindustries, which is kind of the parent company.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that. It makes me feel official. So when
Yeah.
I had to start like an LLC and everything, it's Fish
This
Tank
is
Industries.
technically my second job.
Yes. And since you just started a new job, you've been paid the same amount for both jobs so far. At that point, I'm as big of an employer as Amazon.
That's
is
very
at this
true.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck it, Bezos. Also, he owns Twitch. So
Yeah.
getting back to that, like Jake and I have a couple ideas of things that we might want to do on Twitch, kind of
Yeah.
like a podcast adjacent. I was
Yeah.
thinking we got the cameras. If we wanted to live stream a recording process, I don't know why anyone would watch that, but nah. But I've been up there playing some video games. Been playing some, just trying to get my main thing. And this is what's been driving me crazy that I've put up. And I actually at one point had 4 people watching on my Twitch stream. So when they put out the Nintendo Online for Nintendo 64,
Yeah.
they sold a Switch compatible wireless Nintendo 64 controller.
Yeah.
And that worked. But if anyone knows, the Pro controller for the Switch is pretty much the same layout. I mean, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch kind of have the same layout.
Yeah.
You have
the
4
dual
shoulder
stick style.
buttons, 2
it's
sticks.
very close to the Xbox
Yeah,
controller.
they all
Yeah.
pretty much took the PlayStation model when PlayStation got 2 sticks.
4
and it was
triggers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So, but the Nintendo 64 games are pretty much unplayable on the 2 sticks just
you
because
gotta get used to it. Yeah.
just the way they map the buttons makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like they were just throwing darts at a drawing of the button layout and like, okay, that's what the B button is.
I don't know. It's over my head.
So what I did is I've been experimenting playing my favorite game, Banjo-Kazooie, and remapping the buttons live to where it feels actually playable. Kind of like, not so much like, oh, the B button, the A button, and looking at it, but just playing the game and being like where my thumbs would kind of naturally go.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, because like on the Switch, the B button's the bottom button, but jump button's A, which is the right button. But it doesn't feel right to push the right button to jump. So you just kind of like, I was just kind of sitting where my fingers would naturally go and like,
Yeah.
be like, okay, that. And I eventually got like 5 people watching, be like, in the stream just said Banjo-Kazooie button remapping.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah. There you
I'm
go.
not the only one that's. I mean, granted, it's kind of a niche market for Banjo-Kazooie, but
I
if
mean,
you put in the
yeah.
stream, if someone's searching Banjo-Kazooie and you put up Banjo-Kazooie button remapping trials, they might learn a thing or two.
Yeah. And watch a man struggle
Yeah,
to make it work.
You can subscribe to the Twitch channel again. That's twitch.tv/fishtankindustries. It's going at least until the 18th of this month because after I got everything up and running, I already told Jake, it said where Twitch Studio is no longer supporting Mac.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, God damn it.
That's a hilarious update.
Well, I feel like they thought I was going to take over the whole platform. So, like, we got to put some roadblocks in front of this kid because his
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie content
Look at how
is-
fast he's developing.
He has 5 people watching him remap buttons on Banjo-Kazooie. It's really going to take a drain on the economy because everyone's just going to not be working anymore.
They're just going to play Banjo-Kazooie in a much more comfortable layout.
Yeah, that and
I feel like the controller just, when you have it in your hand and it's so different from the Nintendo 64 controller, you just naturally want to use it as the modern controller.
Yes.
You know?
Especially because we've been playing with modern controllers since the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I mean, between PlayStation
right
and Xbox.
after, yeah.
And even the GameCube controller, it had 4 buttons. They were weirdly shaped.
Yeah.
But they had 4 buttons and triggers. The GameCube only had 2 triggers, but still pretty much the same layout.
2 sticks.
Yeah, a C stick and the other one.
C-stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing is more of a GameCube layout. So like the C stick is the right stick. So when you have to do like combo moves, like hold crouch and push C left, you just hold down the crouch, which is...
Yeah, that's probably good.
All right, here's an example. If you're holding that controller and there's 2 shoulder buttons and there's 1 trigger on the Nintendo 64, where do you think the Z trigger should be?
ZR.
Yes, they have it as ZL.
Ow. Wow.
Why? Just that, so your brain automatically goes to right. So it's fun. Join me on my remapping journey, and also while I replay Banjo-Kazooie, trying to remember where everything is.
Yeah.
Not looking up guides or anything.
You're going to want to speedrun it. I can see it.
I might get into that.
Yeah.
Those guys are real good, though.
Yeah, you're going to want to PB it a lot.
You'll hear my name in a Summoning Salts documentary like we talked about last week with Jimmy Poopins. Did you end up watching that?
Yeah, I did watch it.
It's fucking great.
Yeah,
that guy knows what he's doing. And speaking of awesome YouTube documentaries, let's get into Jake's recommendation for me.
Yeah.
This was from the YouTube channel We're in Hell. And it was their video posted, I think it was 2 months ago.
Wow.
I want to say June 1st of this year, called What White Noise Tells Us About the Mona Lisa. Jake, give us a little background on how you found this, what you know about the channel, and
I can't remember when We're in Hell showed up in my algorithm.
Just one of those things.
Or what video it was that it showed up on.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy his critique of things. But not only does he like give an in-depth look at art, he also will watch really stupid reality TV shows and talk about those, which is pretty fun as well. And I really enjoy just sitting down, listening to what his ideas are. And this one was one of the most recent ones that I find very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something I like that's not in Taylor's world. Let's see what Taylor would think of this.
So it is a YouTube channel that popped up in your algorithm. You didn't hear about it from something else or anything like that?
No, just straight up algorithm.
I have a couple like that. Like I was just pulling my YouTube trying to see who I know from the algorithm. One of the guys I talked about a bunch, Nando V Movies, is fantastic. Another channel called Nerd of the Rings, where a guy just does like really deep Lord of the Rings lore documentaries. It's like, oh, you guys want to know about Arendelle? It's like, here's a 45-minute video about him.
Oh. So I see.
One of my favorite is, and this popped up, and I thought it looked dumb, but it's legitimately, unironically, one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's called Frankenstein's Lab.
Yeah.
It's 2 guys sitting on a couch. I don't want to put on that they're on marijuana, but they very strongly seem like they're on marijuana. And they're just watching clip compilation videos from YouTube. So you see the clip compilation video in like the bottom third, and then it's just them sitting on the couch reacting to it. Kind of like a stoned Statler and Waldorf sort of thing, but it's just like Family Guy clip compilation. And it's just like, oh, right, we're going to watch Family Guy. And then they're watching it, and they laugh, and then you go, that's stupid.
Enjoyable?
It's so enjoyable, and it's a fucking train wreck. Like, you cannot look away from it. It's like staring into eclipse. You're like, I'm not a big Family Guy fan, and I'm not a big reaction video fan, but these two just work so perfectly together. Like, go watch, shout out to Frankenstein's Lab. Those guys, I swear to God, if I find out, it's one of those things where if it's a joke and they come up together and be like, we've actually studied at Juilliard and we're making a critique on how Family Guy makes people seem more unintelligent.
I think Wrestling with Shadows broke your brain, dude.
I think it did. I think everything's kayfabe now. I can't take it. But also, if it's just 2 guys stoned sitting on a couch watching Family Guy, that's awesome too. So yeah. One thing that did throw me off about this is you told me that the documentary is called What White Noise Tells Us About the Mona Lisa. I thought white noise, it meant like...
Yeah, right.
Like white
what
noise.
You pick up on a channel that has no picture to receive.
Exactly. I did not know White Noise was a novel.
Yeah.
A novel written by Don DeLillo.
It's a Netflix movie as well.
Yes. Have you seen the movie?
No.
Okay. Neither have I. So that was kind of a fun extra thing to learn about.
Yeah.
Why don't you get to the kind of good critique of like what the whole documentary is about?
So the whole thing is about the Mona Lisa, yeah, and how it's the most photographed portrait, in the world. And it's really small painting in a museum filled with glorious, magnificently large arts. But people stand in line to just take a picture of themselves with the Mona Lisa. So it stops being about the art of the portrait at some time, and it starts being about the art of the history of the Mona Lisa. This thing is famous to be taken photos with for a reason, and at some point it stops becoming art as something that's inquisitive, and it starts becoming art as something exploitative, and that's what happened with the Mona Lisa.
Right.
And I like his little breakdown about it, how the history of it's pretty fun, and how all of that just comes together to make a moment that everybody wants a picture with the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, so that's the really interesting part about it, is because his conceit, and this one really reminds me of the other YouTube documentary that you had me watch, the In Search of a Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Just really well made, and I think it's worth the time for anybody to watch this. You don't have to have read that book, and like me,
No, you don't.
You didn't
Yeah.
have to know that book existed.
Yeah. The book just talks about the most photographed barn in the world.
Which is a place out in Wyoming.
Yes.
That bills itself. And the conceit he kind of gets to is there's this barn that's a tourist attraction that calls itself the most photographed barn in America. But the reason it's the most photographed barn in America is because it's called the most photographed barn in America.
Exactly.
So he kind of curtails that into the Mona Lisa, saying that it's not the best painting.
Yeah.
It's not even the biggest. It's, very small.
And it's not even
Da Vinci's best work.
Yeah.
But
most intriguing work.
It's kind of breaking down the weirdness behind famous for being famous.
Yes.
Which I think is a great critique, and I think this guy Sam, I think is his name. Nice guy. I think
Where in hell? He's a nice Canadian boy.
Yeah, he's picked up on the Canadian quick.
Yeah.
There's a couple of boats
There's a
in
couple
there.
of boots. And he does do a really good A, where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like when I do it, it's like to punctuate a question. But his was like, I'm Canadian.
Just like a little side. He's like, hey guys, your neighbors to the north. We're up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was it's a not a documentary in the sense that you learn something.
Yeah, you learn a little bit of history.
It's a real jumping off point.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something that is just talking about art and how to look at it from different perspectives. And that's something that I find very valuable, because I love to consume art in all its forms. I want to understand it at the very least. And the way that I can do that is by watching videos or reading books where people talk about their insights, and it could be completely different from me, but now I'm seeing it from a new viewpoint, and now I could maybe appreciate something. Like, I didn't care about the Mona Lisa.
I still don't.
Yeah. I do want my picture taken with it if I'm ever at the Louvre, but I'm not like seeking it out like other people are.
Right.
If I just happen to be at the Louvre.
And I think what he kind of hammers home the point for, which I had no idea about this story at all, is he brings up the fact that the Mona Lisa didn't really even get famous and have worldwide renown until it was stolen in 1911.
Yeah.
A guy named Vincenzo Perugia
Stole it.
who worked there. He was part of the team, I think that...
He was part of the team that brought in the Mona Lisa.
Yes, and built like a new housing unit for the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And he just took it and he just kept it in a trunk for 2 years.
Moved to another country. I can't remember which one.
He went back to Italy.
Yeah. And
he's an Italian guy, and then he calls up an art dealer and basically said, hey, do you want to buy the Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, yeah, sure. And then that guy called the cops.
Yeah.
But this is after 2 years. And during that 2-year period, like they said something to the effect of there was someone coming soon after Perugia stole it to like study it or like take pictures of it or something like that, and then they noticed it was gone, and it wasn't a famous. I think it was a Da Vinci. It was a famous painting,
and then
but it wasn't famous enough for everyone. There weren't people going to see it every day.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then the spot where the Mona Lisa became famous,
Right, because it was empty. They left it empty.
Yeah, they left it empty, and that was a sight to see.
Yeah,
and that's another really interesting part of the whole story is how that becomes a attraction in itself.
The lack of the attraction becomes an attraction.
And I don't know, I just really enjoy when somebody has like a laser focus on one type of understanding, and they're like, just give me 45 minutes to explain to you why some people see it this way.
It's really him kind of like defending his thesis if he was a doctorate student.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. And he's relating it back to this book, and just, he's not doesn't go into too much of a deep dive in the book. He's just like, this is kind of I guess in academic stuff, the whole story about the chapter in this book where they go see the most photographed barn in America is kind of like a touchstone or reference point that a lot of people do. Is like, oh, that's like the barn in White Noise, and he was just like, oh, it's the same thing as the Mona Lisa, which is, it's a good analysis that he had.
Yes, definitely.
And I thought it was a really well-made thing that I think what it made me think about is, I'm like, oh shit, this is just what we do on this podcast.
Yeah,
we're kind of
a little bit not as in depth.
Yeah,
with the understanding.
Well, it just made me think when he's talking about the everyone has a picture of themselves with the Mona Lisa. Yeah, and I looked up our Instagram page, and our Instagram page is just pictures of other people's work. Yeah, with our thing like above it, and I'm like, so every one of our little that our guy Jimmy, he does all of our social media stuff, and shout out to him. He made the new Fish Tank Industries logo as well.
Looks very good.
I know, guy does good work. He's the best employee I have.
I'm happy for him.
Yes,
that's good.
He's actually getting paid.
Hey, I gotta go.
He'll finish this.
Yeah.
But it made me think that that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like our whole thing has our little logo and then a bunch of things. I'm like,
other people's work.
Yeah, but I think there's something to. And I'm not going to say it's an uncreative thing to do to quote unquote take your picture next to the Mona Lisa. Yeah. But it is just like you said, you want to take your picture next to it. It's just like, hey, I was here. Like I witnessed this thing. It's kind of like keeping score about what you've done. Yeah. Do you go to art museums? Do you go up to the National Museum up in DC?
I haven't been in a while, but I would like to. When I went out to LA, I went to the one in
the Getty?
No, the LACMA.
Oh, okay.
And the one on OC.
I've never been to Los Angeles.
Oh, I went to 2 modern art museums, and both of them were pretty incredible. I enjoyed the experience immensely.
I never really liked art museums until I went to one that I love, and I still try to go whenever I'm back down in that area. I forget the whole story behind it, but for some reason, the second largest Salvador Dali museum outside of Spain is in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they have some of his masterworks, which are the opposite of the Mona Lisa. They're fucking 30 feet tall, and he had to be up on pulley systems to paint them. And I love Dali stuff like that. Surrealist, that's like the first thing. He has a painting there. It's one of his famous paintings, the hallucinogenic Toreador. Are you familiar with that one?
Probably.
Let me pull up a picture of it. But it's one of those things where a couple of his masterworks are in this gigantic room, and you just walk in. You kind of like turn. Museums they're built with purpose. Yeah, and you just turn the corner and you see this painting. Here it is. And it's fucking 30 feet tall, and more than that, probably 40 feet tall. And you're just staring at the base of it. And
Looks
you're
pretty,
holy, it's
glorious.
It's awesome in the sense of it inspires awe.
And the magnitude of it,
Yeah, and I was just thinking about that with reference to the Mona Lisa. It's like, it's the most famous painting in the world, and it's small. It's smaller than a poster. What are the dimensions of it?
It's pretty dang small. Yeah. Is
like
one of the
2 feet by 3 feet, maybe? Yeah. Like, it's smaller than a poster.
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah.
But it captures the heart of the world.
Famous for being famous.
Yeah, which is amazing. And it's a fun thing to think about.
Oh, it's fucking sent me spiraling about our Instagram page. But I did think this documentary was kind of going to take a turn and be like, oh, this is about, commodification of fame and, people that are just famous for being famous. But it doesn't really do that. And I don't think it doesn't kind of try to disparage the Mona Lisa.
It doesn't tell you that this is a bad thing.
No, it's just
that you're witnessing.
This is a weird thing.
This is something to think about when you think about the Mona Lisa. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing that I love about art is you don't have to disparage somebody else's tastes to get them to understand why you have your viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
This is something, these types of videos, I get these types in my algorithm all the time from YouTube, and it's nobody being like, this is a piece of shit. It's a lot of people being like, I didn't like this, and here's why. And it's not like you're an idiot for liking it.
Right.
It's just like, here's a really good reason. Well, here's my reason why I see it differently.
Yeah, I guess I kind of got turned off by art when I kind of... Did you watch the Banksy documentary, The Exit Through the Gift Shop?
Yes.
And then that kind of turned me off from it. And also... And I really like the avant-garde artists like that. I think it's kind of, for lack of a better term, it's kind of punk rock and shit like that.
Yeah.
And
I
also
like street art.
Yeah. But then the art world, like the high-end art world.
Yeah.
I watched another. This actually was, oh God, I can't find it. But it was in my recommendation page. It was all about how art is just a money laundering scheme.
Oh, yes. A lot of art shouldn't be that expensive.
No, it's like, this is worth $45 million. And it's only worth that because someone paid that.
Yeah, somebody appraised it, and they get a sick cut.
And you could take out an insurance policy on it, and that insurance policy is worth so much to this company that chooses to insure it, and then they insure other things that this person also owns, and it's just like, it's
through.
It's a blue square.
Like
it's a blue square. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I got another great video to offer you about that type of art.
There's a 4-panel thing at the National Gallery, which I'm going to Google so I sound smart.
Is it the red one?
No, it's like really well done. It's like about man.
Oh, God. So it's not just a color?
No, it's fucking no. You know what I Googled?
Yeah.
4-panel National Gallery man
art.
Perfect. Whatever it is. It's like it's 4 stages of a man's life. It's like birth, but it's like the huge like landscape romantic paintings, and there's like an angel that's like calling him, and he's like a little baby on a river, and then he's like a man paddling a boat, and he's like goes off and dies and goes to
4
heaven.
different paintings, right?
Yeah, and it's like stages.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's like in a room, and I'm like, that shit's fucking...
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It takes talent. I'm not going to say it takes... Well, I'm going to say it takes less talent to paint a blue square, but...
It takes
everyone can take whatever the meaning they want from it, but...
Yeah.
There is a level of skill. Like Salvador Dali painting a fucking hallucinogenic toreador. That's a little more impressive than like the guy that dangles a light bulb.
I get the impression...
Or duct tapes a banana.
The impressiveness of it as being a nice part of art, but it's the impression that it leaves on me that I really like to take home. I saw some really weird looking stuff at the LA Art Museum.
That was the modern one?
Yeah. Well, it has 2. It has art history and it has a modern art. And art history was fun, but it's history. You know me with history. Napoleon was close to Cleopatra.
Yep.
Hey, I know my stuff.
Yeah.
And the modern
Cleopatra
art
was closer to the iPhone than the pyramids.
Is you find something that's pretty striking to take a look at it, and then you read about it, and you're like, that's a really impressive thing to want to make. And people find inspiration in such a wild way, and people have such a unique way to express it. I just want people to know that they can express themselves in wildly different ways than other people, and that's typically what's going to create really good art.
Yeah,
is don't have to worry on the technicality unless you want to, and you don't really have to worry about the message getting across if you don't want to, because somebody's going to look at it and it's going to infect them, and that's the most important thing to me about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you something without words, and this is the best I could do.
And and I think it's, I've got my artwork up over there.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I threw shit at it at a canvas.
It means a lot to you, though.
Yeah, and other people have said that's really good. And I'm like,
it's really cool.
it's kind of, and that kind of adds another level of thing where it's like other people can say that it's good, and even I look at it. I'm the one that did it, and even I can look at it and be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Because you feel like you didn't do anything to achieve.
it's a little imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah.
But also, how insufferable would I be if I showed you that and be like, look at this, Jacob.
Yeah.
Look
If
at
you just said, I'm really happy with how that came out,
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Because I'm really happy with how it came out.
I like the yellow.
I love the yellow. I love the blue.
Also, it's called Thomas Cole, The Voyage of Life.
Was it a white
Yeah, there's
canvas? Oh, yes. I
Oh, yeah.
remember the Voyage of Life.
fucking great.
Yeah, really cool. Very big.
I had a really good
Very big
teacher
portrait-
that took
not
us to the
portraits.
National Gallery.
Very
And,
big painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a really good teacher that took us to the National Gallery. And, like, I remember we had, like, the docent or whatever you call the museum people.
Baba.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a museum person.
Baba.
Yeah, that was, like, going around and, like, telling people, you know, this is what this is and blah, blah, blah. Usher, that's a better word for it.
Okay.
And
Tour guide.
she was just like, I got this. I kind of like pushed him away, like was telling us shit, and she made it fun. But yeah, I recommend this. I would say on our scale, I give this. It's a solid 3. I think it's a good one. It's a good documentary. I think it it raised a lot of good questions, and it's worth a watch. So I recommend.
And
everyone,
he's a funny kid. He has pretty good jokes.
Yes,
in it.
He's a little neurotic and a little
a little neurotic.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a well made thing. I think it's on YouTube.
He's a funny kid.
Check it out. Again, what White Noise tells us about the Mona Lisa YouTube channel again is We're in Hell.
That's the one.
So now we're going to talk about my recommendation for Jake, which I'm very excited to talk about, especially when we're talking about pieces of art that are famous for being famous.
Yeah, this is wild.
Disclaimer here: Jake brought 3 pages of notes.
That's crazy.
Which I'm so excited about.
I did bring a lot of notes.
This is the 2023 film The Flash. I don't even know where to start with this.
Well, let's start with why.
Okay, so this film has been in development since I think 2014. It's gone through a bunch of different directors, scripts. It started production before the Flash TV show on the WB, and it came out after the Flash TV show ended its 9-season run.
Wow.
Yes. So they made an entire Flash TV show before they put out this Flash movie. It is the second to, I guess Blue Beetle. No, Blue Beetle might be in the new DC. If you don't know DC Comics universe, James Gunn said I think it's part of this. Well, they just had to put shit out at this point.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's in the universe with Ben Affleck Batman, the Henry Cavill Superman, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, that Justice League, and Ezra Miller as the Flash. And so this is basically a loose adaptation of the Flashpoint comic book series, in which Barry Allen, if you don't know the story behind Barry Allen, which a lot of people don't, because Barry Allen's he's not Batman, he's not Superman, he's on the Justice League, but he's not Mr. Miracle, where like a lot of people don't know who he is, but people
know who the Flash is.
He's second level, and I would say Barry Allen's in modern day is the most famous Flash, especially after Grant Gustin played him for years and years. So it's Barry Allen, Ezra Miller this time, and he's off. It starts out with him getting a call from Alfred. Jeremy Irons being Alfred, still great. Like he's a great Alfred.
Jeremy Irons is great.
That he needs help at Gotham General because it's fucking collapsing.
Yeah,
and he goes off and does that, and then eventually he gets to the point. The whole crux of this is he realizes that he can go back in time, and his idea is his mother was killed, and his dad was falsely imprisoned, falsely in this timeline, falsely imprisoned for killing his mom, but he didn't kill his mom. Barry Allen becomes a forensic guy, like he's a CSI guy to vindicate his father, and he's like, if I can go back in time, I can stop my mom from being killed. Yeah. And Ben Affleck Batman's like, don't.
Yeah, of course.
Just don't.
Butterfly effect.
And then Barry Allen's like, well, I could just do a little bit. And Batman's like, you better not.
Yeah.
You better not do that. I can't stop you, but you better not do that. And then he does that. And he goes back to something we'll get into a little bit more in detail. But he goes to a timeline where he sees himself the day before or the day that he's supposed to get his powers. And then General Zod, Michael Shannon, invades the Earth. He helps the other Barry Allen get his powers, and then he realizes that there are no superhumans in this. There is no Cyborg. There's no Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There's no Aquaman. but there
Something
is
happened.
there is a
Yeah.
Batman. And everyone's like, oh yeah, Batman. No one's seen him in years. No one knows who he is. And Barry Allen's like, I know who he is.
Yeah.
So he takes other Barry Allen to go see Batman, but it's not Ben Affleck anymore. It's Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Reprising his role as Batman from Batman 1989 and Batman Returns, which was 92, 91, 92.
You got
a couple
me,
years
bud.
after that.
Yeah.
So Michael Keaton's back as Batman.
Yes.
And
How do you feel?
all right. So why I wanted you to watch this, other than
Yeah.
spite.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you. Spite's a big part of this. I maintain
Yeah.
this isn't a terrible movie.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
I think there are parts of this movie that, and it was written by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, and they've written, they wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming, and they wrote the new, did you ever see Game Night
No.
with Jason Bateman and a couple other people? But it's fucking
Rachel McAdams, I think.
Rachel McAdams, that's
Yeah.
who it is. And they also wrote the new Dungeons and Dragons, which is
Okay.
it's good. Have you seen the new Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't like you anymore.
Why?
Because I was going to suggest that at the end of the day.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion.
I mean, I'll talk about Dungeons and Dragons again.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so great.
So they wrote this. Did you know they wrote that too?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
But good.
Yes.
That movie's great.
And so I maintain this is good. I think it has good thoughts. I think it got like everything in this iteration of the DC universe, which I think is going to get a lot better with James Gunn
Yeah, probably.
at the helm. It got mismanaged. I think there are parts of this that just, and I'll fully admit, parts of this look terrible.
Yes.
Like some of the CGI is just
Awful.
garbage.
Yeah.
We could talk about the first action set piece that opens the movie. There
That
are parts
is
of that
the
that look
craziest. If that movie had the level of absurdity as a bunch of babies not only falling to their death, but dealing with scalpels or fire or acid pouring on them
Jake, you're
while
saying
they're
it like
falling.
this was something stupid, like the Flash puts a baby in a microwave to move it out of the way.
That is what I'm talking about. If it stayed at that level, I would have loved this movie.
So it's just tonally inconsistent for you.
It's not the tone that I wanted, and not
Okay.
what I was sold on at the beginning. Because Ezra Miller is not an interesting person to watch. I don't know what type of character they were going for.
Not a good
with
one.
Barry.
Yes.
I felt like it was Sheldon the whole time,
It had a little Sheldon Cooper vibe to it.
and I was like, "This is super annoying."
Yeah.
And then they decided there should be two of them.
Yes.
Which was doubly annoying.
Didn't make it better.
It shouldn't have been Ezra Miller as the focal point of this movie. It should have been Batman.
Can we say this?
Batman.
The fact that this movie exists is a wonder.
The fact that this movie exists is WB trying not to lose any money. They
Well,
wanted to
they're
scrape
trying to lose as little money as possible.
Thing out of this thing.
It did not do well in the box office, I don't believe. Okay, its budget was $200 million, and allegedly it made $265. But with promotion and stuff, it still probably lost money.
Very true. That's what they say.
If this movie, I will say this, if this movie had come out like pre-internet, and I think the movie that really hamstrung this was Spider-Man No Way Home. Because in Spider-Man No Way Home, Tobey Maguire comes back and
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield comes back.
Yeah.
So it really feels like,
And
you're just trying to do
was
a Spider-Man No Way Home.
What do we got? Yeah.
Even though Flashpoint Paradox, where this is kind of based off, which they've also made into an animated movie already, that was really good.
I have no doubt. The DC animated movies are actually pretty damn good.
Top notch.
Yeah.
And I think one of the original versions of the script was supposed to be more along the lines of Flashpoint, which in Flashpoint, he goes back, saves his mom, but in doing so, instead of making Batman Michael Keaton now, it caused Joe Chill to shoot Bruce Wayne instead of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yeah.
So Martha Wayne goes insane. She becomes the Joker, and Thomas Wayne becomes a Batman that just fucking murders people.
Tries to get his wife.
And they're both trying to avenge, their son's death.
Yeah.
And that's fucking great. And if they had done
Yeah,
that
very
movie, I
cool.
think it would have been good. I really think Michael Keaton is a standout in this.
Yes.
I think
Absolutely.
he's kind of playing his character from Birdman, which was kind of playing his character from Batman.
Yeah. He stands out just because he's an actual phenomenal actor.
Yes.
Compared to everything that's around him.
And I will say this. I think there are a lot of people in this that are giving it their all. The actress who's...
My favorite thing that Michael Keaton did was when he tried to eject from the Batwing.
Yeah.
And the ejection was malfunctioning. Like, immediately, he was just like, I'm going to go kill myself.
He's so done. And I will say, I think the person who got shafted the most from this was actress Sasha Cale, who plays Kara Zor-El.
Yeah.
They're in the second set piece. They go. They find that there is a Kryptonian here because General Zod shows up, and Michael Shannon's in this a bit. And
yeah,
good job cashing that paycheck, Michael Shannon. I don't think he had to do much. I don't think he saw any of these other actors. I think he was just in front of a green screen or a blue screen or whatever.
Because there was a lot of animated Supergirl.
Yes, but Sasha Cale, I think her as Kara is fantastic. I think she was a great casting choice, and I think she didn't have much to do.
No.
There was a Supergirl movie planned. It was kind of like the Batgirl movie, except the Batgirl movie got shot and it was filmed, and then WB just shelved it as a tax dodge.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That had a good Batgirl. It had Brendan Fraser was playing Firefly in that.
Oh, wow.
It had J.K. Simmons back as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was for all intents and purposes, people are saying it was good, but legally they cannot release that movie.
Stupid.
I know, it's dumb. So there is that going against it. So why did I want you to see this movie besides just spite? It's one of those weeks in the podcast where it kind of one thing plays into the other.
Yeah.
Where I think this is the taking your picture with a Mona Lisa for everything good that's been done in superhero movies since 2008. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of it everywhere. But for some reason, it's like, remember in the video you had me watch where they were saying that when the Mona Lisa got stolen, there were people that made copies of the Mona Lisa, but since they didn't have a copying machine, a lot of the people just drew it from memory and sold those prints where it's just like a shitty guy how he remembers the Mona Lisa. This comes off a lot of like someone was in a coma and they woke up and they're trying to remember everything.
Flash.
They're trying to remember everything good that happened in superhero movies, from the multiverse stuff, from the mentor stuff, from the surprising twists of characters and stuff like that. And none of it, for some reason, it comes off as a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes off uninspired.
But I thought I didn't think. I knew you were not going to watch this otherwise.
Yeah, of course not.
So I needed you to. And you came with 3 pages of notes. So hit me with your notes. I'm going to be Team Flash. What else happens? Oh, yeah, all the universes collide. Are you talking about this in your notes?
No, a little bit.
When all the universes collide?
Just a little bit.
All right, hit me with your notes.
So we've gone through a lot of these while we were just talking.
Good.
One thing that I do want to bring up is that I like that he called his dad in prison, and his dad in prison was like, look, I didn't kill your mom, but I'm over it now, and I'm just going to stay in jail. It's fine. You go and do whatever you want, Barry.
It is Ron Livingston, and he does give off Office Space vibes, where he's just like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care anymore, kid. Yeah. You go live your life. I didn't kill my wife.
You see, opposite of Harrison Ford in Fusion. It's like, I
didn't kill my wife.
It's like, I didn't kill my wife. He's like, well, guys, I didn't kill her, but I don't want to be a nudge about this, but I really didn't kill my wife.
He offers a girl a drink in his apartment.
Yeah.
And in that fridge is a can of 8 hot dogs.
Yes.
I looked it up. That's not a thing.
A can of 8 hot dogs?
Yeah, you can't get a can of hot dogs. If you want Vienna sausages, yes, you can. 8 hot dogs, or just hot dogs in a can.
In what multiverse?
This is a great question. It was normal.
And they still had Stella Artois, but they didn't. But they also had hot dogs in a can.
I don't understand the hot dogs in the can.
I know.
It was very distracting. It is the reason why I picked up my notebook.
It's one of those things when I see stupid things like that. I'm sure there was one obscure Flash panel in the 1970s where he has hot dogs in a can in his fridge, and whoever put that in the script is just like, see how much I know about comic books?
I thought it was just something that people are so out of touch. They're like, what would a normal person have in their fridge?
Yes.
A can of hot dogs.
A can of hot dogs, of course.
Tired of time travel stuff was one of the things that I said.
Yeah, I think this was kind of the end of the multiverse.
After Primer, people shouldn't fuck with time travel. Great, you got a movie to watch tonight. I mean, this week.
What's Primer?
Primer is a movie about time travel.
Okay.
But it's one of the most technical movies about time travel that's ever been made.
Was it The Time Machine?
It was The Time Machine with H.G. Wells himself pedaling that time machine away.
All right, we'll talk about Primer afterwards. But
Okay. So it's just
Were you seriously going to recommend Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, of course. I was going to award you out of the kindness of my heart, because I have it in my notes right here. Make Taylor watch D&D, Honor Among Thieves.
It's good. I'll say right now, that's a 3. Everyone should watch that too.
Hell
I think it's
yeah.
on Max as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
It's good.
No,
I
it's
hope-
on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I hope they make another one of those.
Me too.
That movie
Chris
was kind of-
Pine is so damn charming, that entire movie. Michelle Rodriguez is
Great.
awesome as hell.
Yeah. And the kid, Justice Smith,
Yes.
I think he was in Detective Pikachu too. He's
Yes.
great.
He was great. He was as an awkward person, and like Flash, Sheldon Flash was supposed to be an awkward person.
Yeah.
And this one, it just comes off as grating.
Yeah.
Where his awkward in D&D was very funny.
Yeah.
You know, he's
He's
just
like that in Detective Pikachu too.
Yeah, he's-
Did you ever see Detective Pikachu?
We watched it in theaters together.
Oh, shit,
buddy.
that's right.
I can't believe it. It was one of our better dates. You forget?
It was a good movie. Maybe the best video game movie ever. Probably not.
No, probably not.
No.
Super Mario Brothers.
It's Twisted Metal, the TV series.
Super Mario Brothers.
Twisted
Sorry.
Metal.
Super Mario Brothers.
Continue.
I wrote down Lucy was more entertaining.
I don't disagree with that. Lucy was amazing.
Lucy was a mile a minute. Something new was happening
90
no
minutes.
matter what, even if it's really dumb. This movie is meandering a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of padding and
There's
filler.
a lot of talking from Ezra to Ezra, and
Yes.
there should be something better than Ezra. You see what I
Stop
did?
it.
Did you hear that?
Would you say that this movie was good?
I would say.
Wah-uh. It was good. That joke's for nobody but us.
Yeah. I wrote down that I hate the "this is awkward" scenes. You know.
Yeah, that was the worst part of the Justice Leagues too, where
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I don't know about brunch."
Yeah.
Like, what's brunch? It's like, shut up. You know what brunch is.
Yeah.
You
you're
work for the
stupid.
police department. I hope you know what brunch is.
I wrote down. I do like the fulcrum idea of going back in time.
So that's
where
that's
instead
an
of
interesting
time
thing.
being a parallel thing running together, there's a point in time that happens in every timeline that overlaps, like Bruce Wayne's parents dying.
Yeah.
So that is consistent thing where the timelines go wildly different directions. That's why Aquaman's not around, because, you know, it shouldn't have changed anything,
Right.
because Aquaman's older than the Flash.
So it's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't have been gone, but they're like, oh, it's because they've never existed on this timeline. This is the timeline that you jump to.
And I think that would have been even better if 2 months before this they didn't do it in Spider-Verse
Yes.
and do it better.
Yes. Absolutely.
Everything this movie did, I think Spider-Verse did better.
But I enjoyed the fulcrum.
Yeah.
I was fine with that.
Did you like the chronosphere effect?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
It didn't look great.
It was all bad CG.
Yes.
So bad.
CG was so, like, sometimes it looked not great. Sometimes it looked good. The running effect, I feel bad because it's just like the I think, what do they call them in Spider-Verse? Nexus points? And not a fulcrum, it was a nexus point in Spider-Verse, I think.
Okay.
Whatever the terminology was.
Yeah.
But, like, they did that better, and no one's been able to do the quick running super
Yeah.
speed like they
That's
did
what I
in
wrote down,
the
too.
X-Men movies. Like the Quicksilver, the
Yeah.
old X... Or
I'm
new-
tired of things being slow to show that they're fast. You know, I'm going in normal speed while everything's going, ooh, look at the rain. It looks like it's stopped.
Yeah.
It's more boring to me now
Yes.
than it used to be. So, like, the times it was exciting was when you see a bolt of lightning and then his apartment's clean.
Yep.
You know, that's much more fun to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish they've done that more. But
Yeah.
that's just something for me. You
Okay.
know, if people like the slow motion stuff, that's great. I'm happy for you.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. I wrote down Michael Keaton stuff is awesome. Michael Keaton's very awesome, and he does a really good job.
I give it up for Keaton in this. I think there's some great... If we're not talking about this as a Flash movie, I think there's some great Batmaning in this. And
Yeah.
I will completely admit, and it pains me to say this, Ben Affleck is not the best Batman in this movie.
Yeah.
Is he the
I would
best
agree.
Batman overall? Possibly. I think, and I was really excited when I saw the stills when this trailer first came out, because he does have the blue and gray Batman. Like, he has got the bluish cowl.
Oh, yeah.
The gray bodysuit. It's the first time since Adam West days where we haven't seen a black on black Batman.
Adam West is in this movie.
Adam West is in this movie.
Jesus.
And
That's
it was not a good looking bat suit. It was not a good looking bat suit.
No Way
Affleck's
Home
bat
had
suit.
3 Spider-Man.
To be fair, there's only been 3 Spider-Man.
And then this thing was just a funnel in your mouth with a gigantic bucket of nostalgia going
Spider-Verse
right down
had
there.
the meme of them pointing at each other, but you were okay with that?
Spider-Verse? Yeah, Spider-Verse is fun.
Yeah, it is.
That's different. I'm talking No Way Home.
I'm can't whataboutism Spider-Verse because everyone agrees that's a good movie.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It comes in the mail for me tomorrow.
From what?
Amazon.
Oh.
I bought the Blu-ray.
Oh, that's right. You're Jake Physical Media.
Yeah,
Right
I'm
on.
collecting physical media now. The action scene with Batman actually beating up people.
Which one?
The one in
With the
Antarctica?
Kryptonians?
Yes.
Oh, the
No,
one
no, no.
in Russia.
Yes.
Siberia, whatever.
Where
it
he's
is.
fighting normal people.
Yes.
And he's doing normal Batman fight.
Some good Batman.
It was really good Batmaning.
Some great Batman.
So he didn't kill one of them.
Nope.
He didn't. He was just, I need to incapacitate all these people.
And they were Russian.
And
And that
he did
Batman
it
kills
well.
people. You remember in Batman 89 where he
Drops the dude with dynamite down
he
the
just drops
manhole.
it down like a shaft. And
He's
like,
broken his legs at least.
And then he gets
at
hit with
the
a
bottom,
grenade.
And then he explodes.
and I will say the Affleck Batman, he was just machine gunning cars in the
Yes.
street willy nilly.
Yeah, he was murdering people.
Yeah.
At least Michael Keaton was like, I don't murder people.
Yeah.
I wrote down Val Kilmer is great as Batman.
He was.
I was hoping he would show up.
He did not.
Guess who did show up?
Spoilers for the end of The Flash. So at the end of The
Yeah.
Flash, Barry and Barry are mad at each other because new Barry keeps wanting to go back and try to fix things because they keep fucking up. Batman keeps dying. Kara Zor-El keeps dying.
Yeah.
Zod keeps winning. And then old Barry says,
I can
this
stop
just
it.
this is just what happens.
Yeah.
Like, we can't change this.
Yeah.
Newer Barry's like, no, I'm gonna go back, and
Yeah.
he keeps going back, he keeps
That
getting
was
more
really
and more
good stuff.
disfigured.
Yeah.
That one scene with I think that's the only time I like the two Barrys.
Yeah,
And,
I agree. There was
uh,
a difference that was building in each
Right.
of them. One had more experience, so he didn't do the bad thing.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just, you see the villain build up inside of him, and it's perfect. Like, you can't be mad.
And it
at
builds up on the
Newberry.
outside of him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked great.
Yeah.
Honestly, he did look good.
Horrifying speed creature.
Yeah.
But then Barry sets everything right, kills that other Barry. The third Barry disappears, and then he goes back to where his mom is because he had his mom. The whole fucking stupid conceit of this is that his mom forgot a can of tomatoes at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Had to send his dad out to get the
And the
tomatoes.
mom was like, yeah,
Mom got murdered.
I'll give you a hug.
Yeah.
I
And
know
then-
you're a stranger.
But he goes back and
Buh.
puts tomatoes in her cart, so then she
Yeah.
doesn't die.
So she dies. He murdered his mom.
And yeah, so he goes back and he re-murders his mom. And
We gotta murder my mom.
Yeah.
Do you remember Whitest Kids You Know when
Yeah.
they get a time machine? They're like, we gotta redo Night Owl.
R.I.P. Trevor Moore. That show was fucking way ahead of its time.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So at the end of the movie, Barry puts everything right, or so it seems. He goes to the courthouse, but the one thing he changes is he put the tomatoes up on the top shelf, so his dad had to look up at a security
Yeah.
camera, and then his dad is vindicated. What's the fucking word? Exonerated.
Yeah. But he
and
was
then-
like, you guys fine? I'll stay in jail if you want me to. I don't
No.
want to be a bother. I didn't
Seriously,
kill
you
my
guys.
wife,
It's kind of fun in here.
but it's kind of, I know it could be,
Yeah.
Barry, I don't want to put any more on you.
Also, this kid's really fucking obnoxious. Can I just hang out in jail for a while? But
It was such a funny scene.
and so Barry gets a call, and it's like, Bruce. He's like, oh, good thing about your dad. It's like, oh, yeah, thanks, because the Wayne Tech, and then it pulls up in the Audi that was the same Audi that Ben Affleck was in.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm right here by the courthouse. And
like, yeah, what
there's
do you
like parts
mean?
of the
I'm
crowd,
right
and it's like,
here.
oh, it's going to be Ben Affleck again.
Yeah.
But it's not Ben Affleck. It's
No.
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
It's George Clooney.
I wish it was Val Kilmer.
Looking great. Well, Val
Yeah, he
Kilmer's
looks great.
Val Kilmer's sick.
I
I'm
know,
sure. Yeah.
but I don't want to see. I don't like George Clooney.
I
Batman.
will say this. Can we say, even though Val Kilmer, I will say, was a better Batman, I don't think that was a better movie. I think Batman and Robin is better than Batman Forever.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just for Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger makes that whole
That's a
fucking
wild
movie.
thing to. That's a tall order, my friend.
All right, well, we can argue about that later.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think George Clooney is more famous for being Batman than Val Kilmer is.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
If you ask the random person, name all the people that have played Batman, I guarantee people pull out Clooney before they pull out Val Kilmer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He's a bigger celebrity.
And he did One and Done, and then he never wanted to talk about Batman again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he did not.
He'll talk to you about Mad Morgan.
He said
all
that
day.
was bad, didn't he?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I think most people did.
Uh-huh.
So George Clooney's at the end. You were not a fan of that?
No.
I thought it was great.
It's funny,
I thought it was great.
but it was...
So allegedly, and this is what I've read from a couple different sources, that was supposed to be Ben Affleck again,
Yeah.
and then James Gunn got the head honcho at DC gig, and they went and they reshot it during COVID with George Clooney, just like that scene,
Yeah.
and they called it something fake. Called George Clooney, like, you want to do it? George Clooney's like, that's fucking hilarious. Let's do that. And it was kind of James Gunn's way of saying, Ezra Miller's not in this new DC universe at all. He's stuck in George Clooney universe.
It's cute.
Yes.
It's nice.
Ties a
I
little bow on
appreciate
it. And then he says, who the fuck is that at the end? Like, that's
Yeah.
your F-bomb. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And even that, like the one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie,
Yeah.
if that hadn't been done 2 months earlier in Guardians 3,
Yeah.
when Peter Quill just says, open the fucking door, which is the first F-bomb in a Marvel movie, and it was perfect. Like, even that would have been funny if it had not been done earlier that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's The Stinger was great.
Yeah, with Aquaman.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is
Well, he's got a movie
awesome.
coming out. There's
Is
Aquaman.
Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2.
But he was so funny
Yes.
that I loved it.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Okay.
Good part. This movie is so close to being a watchable movie.
And
There's too much in it that is too long. Going through the chronosphere is too long with too many self-references.
we didn't
to
really
it.
say that. In the chronosphere,
Yeah.
when he's seeing other universes, we see Adam West.
We see Adam West.
We see,
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeve. We see George Reeve that played
Yeah.
the original Superman.
Yeah.
Two Supermen that have
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage fighting a giant
Yeah.
spider, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
From Superman, what was that? Superman Flyby?
I don't know
Is
what
that
it was
that
called.
one was called?
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you what it was called.
Nicolas Cage was in it.
But that's a good idea for Superman. But
Yeah.
now it's never going to happen.
No.
But there's just layers and layers of self-referential
Yeah.
humor right then. And it's not even played for humor.
No.
It's just like, look at these worlds colliding.
It's like
Adam West, your world, no.
And I feel like when someone storyboarded that, they're like, people are gonna fucking cheer
Yeah.
in the fucking
Yeah.
theaters for this. But it's just like, okay.
Yeah. You're like, Christopher Reeve.
It's like, yeah.
He can't consent
No.
to this.
No.
And it was a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so,
if I can speak for what I think your opinions are, you hate things that are almost good more than you hate things that are bad.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, if things are bad, you can at least be like, that was bad. But
Yeah.
when things are almost good, you're like, fuck this for not being
when there's stuff
just
in
a
it,
little
yeah.
better.
If
And I
it
think they
wasn't
could
as
have
long,
They could have took 20 minutes out of this movie
Yeah.
because Oldberry loses his powers. Newberry
Yeah.
gets his powers, and there's a whole thing of him learning to use his powers. He didn't have to lose his powers.
No.
You could have just cut out that
Sure.
middle check and be like, no. You didn't even have to give that Barry his powers. He could have shown up after he got his powers.
yeah,
And you wouldn't have had to do that the whole thing. Like Batman setting up and granted, Michael Keaton did say, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. That was great. that was the one bit that they wrote in for fan service that I was just like, yes.
what is that?
It's
I don't
from
know what that is.
Batman 89.
Yeah,
When he's Bruce Wayne, like the Joker goons are coming in. It's like, you guys want to get nuts? And he smashes something on the mantle. He says, let's get nuts. But
how fun.
I've got more nostalgia for Batman 89 than you do. So I'm feeling like this is going to get a 1 from you.
It gets a 1.
All right.
It's not. It's very close to a 2.
very close to a 2.
It's very close to a
Oh.
2. But there
Are
was
you
just so
happy
much.
you watched it, though? Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
You're not upset that you watched it.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
upset that I watched it. And it's something that if somebody said, I really like that movie, I can understand.
Yeah.
There's just things that I don't enjoy in the movie that keeps me from
Enjoying
ever
it.
wanting to see it again.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The fight scenes are so long and so uninteresting unless it's Batman beating up Russians.
The Batman versus the Kryptonians fight was pretty good, too, where with that bit where he slaps a back grenade on the back of
throwing
that
a
big
whole bunch.
Kryptonian's head.
Yeah.
That's
He
pretty-
doesn't care if it's an alien. He will kill the hell out of an alien.
Aliens and robots, Batman will kill
Yeah.
the fuck out of you. He
Yeah.
just doesn't kill people.
He just not people.
Yeah.
I know Superman's Kryptonian, and I don't want to kill him,
Right.
but I will kill him.
If I have to, I will fucking... He'll probably go after Cyborg, too, because he's half robot. Martian Manhunter, get the fuck out of here.
You just see him grinding his teeth every time he sees Martian Manhunter.
I'm sure he's done like the pros and cons list is like, can I kill Aquaman? Technically, he's not whole human.
Yeah.
I think I could kill him.
What if I just kill the fish part?
Also, something we didn't talk about, Gal Gadot shows back up.
Yeah.
That Wonder Woman theme, the if I
Yeah.
never have to fucking hear that, I don't know why that's her theme. That's like the worst.
That's a bad one.
And we do get
The Lasso of Truth was pretty fun. That was good.
but it's the same joke they did in Justice League.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
I haven't seen Justice
I
League.
know I almost made you watch it for all laugh like April. The Lasso of Truth has never been done for anything other than a joke.
Yeah. And that's fun.
I
I mean,
I
you
guess.
could use it to get the truth out of
But you
people.
just write it off. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So Flash gets a 1.
Flash gets a 1, buddy.
That's fine.
And we'll
All
never
right.
see
So
it again.
you'll watch it again. Thank you everyone for listening. Like I said, you can follow us on Instagram at upyouralleypod, TikTok upyouralleypod. TikTok's getting some traction.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about the show. Subscribe to it on iTunes or Spotify. And also you can find me and maybe sometimes Jake twitch.tv/Fish Tank Industries. You can send an email with your recommendations or tell me how great you thought The Flash was to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. But now we're going to talk about what we're going to be getting into next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
So, since I had to think on my feet, since you've already watched Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
sir, we brought up Primer. Let's watch some Primer, buddy.
Primer. Okay, hold
2004 movie Primer.
I've never.
I don't think it's on any
heard of it.
streaming service other than you have to rent it.
It's okay.
So it's going to cost you $3.
All right.
But
Who's in it?
Nobody who's famous.
Is this a scary movie?
No, it's not a scary movie.
2004 independent psychological science fiction film about the accidental discovery of time travel.
Yeah.
Written, directed, produced, edited, and scored by Shane Carruth in
Yes.
his debut.
Uh-huh.
Jesus, man.
He did
So
Upstream Color as well, and I wasn't as interested in that movie. But this one's really fun because you have to set up the rules for time travel, you
Yeah.
know, and that's basically all this movie is.
I do like a good time travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the better ones.
Okay.
So watch Primer.
All right. Let me see where.
I'll watch Primer as well.
Good. Do you need to give us a primer for it?
oh,
Oh, stream free with Apple TV.
I don't have that.
I do. So I'll not pay for primer. I have a book for you.
Ooh, a book.
Comic book.
Oh.
This is a graphic novel. It's 8 pages. It just came out in a hardback, so I got it. It's one of those things where I read like the first 2 issues on Comixology, and then I was like, I want to wait for this because it's a new property. It's by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. It's like I said, 8 pages. It's available now in hardback. It's one of those things that's it's going to get adapted into a series or something at some point if it hasn't already been bought up. It is called 8 Billion Genies.
8 billion.
Have you heard of 8 Billion Genies?
No.
Okay, so this, Jacob, I'm going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
this is going to turn into one of your favorite things.
Yeah?
Yes.
How fun.
So 8 Billion Genies, it's, like I said, it's by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. Charles Soule and Ryan Brown did the story. Ryan Brown did all the art. Charles Soule wrote the whole thing. The blurb on the back that they got, the pull quote from someone says, 8 Billion Genies is fucking incredible, from Patton Oswalt. Said that. So the premise behind this, says it on the back, everywhere at precisely the same moment, everyone on Earth gets a genie and one wish.
Okay.
There are 8 billion genies.
That's a lot of genie.
Welcome to the world of 8 billion genies. As people all over the planet make wishes profane and profound, the world and humanity change forever. Follow the 8 characters who find themselves in a Detroit dive bar as G-Day descends upon humanity. Navigate their hopes, fears, dreams, and wishes over the first 8 seconds, then the first 8 hours, and ultimately the next 8 centuries.
Wow.
So everyone on Earth gets a
Interesting.
genie and one wish. This, I will say...
The art's really nice.
Oh, yeah,
On
flip
the
through it.
front.
Flip through it real quick. The artwork is fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. The colors are so pretty.
Oh, dude, it's one of the most beautiful graphic novels.
Wow.
Well, not really graphic novels. It's an 8-page limited series. But, Jake, I say this
Wow.
unironically. This is you're going to be talking about this to people.
Great.
8 billion genies. I'm going to watch
Thank you,
Primer.
bud.
So Yeah, absolutely. So thank you everybody for listening. Be sure to follow us on all the things and send us an email to upyouralleypod. Jake, thanks for coming over. I love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
All right, bye.
Bye.